Happy Monday, you guys. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And today I'm going to show you how you can create a very easy property flyer or even an open house flyer with your KW app information associated with it. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm actually logged in as Ty today just because I don't personally have a consumer app since I'm not an agent. But the first thing that we have to do is actually grab our customized app link. So in order to do that, we're going to go over to the left-hand side and we're going to go all the way down to the consumer applet. Now, once you're in there, we're going to go ahead and go up to the right where you see site and app settings. And then we're going to dive into URLs. And there is our app link right here. So we're just going to go ahead and copy that. And you can see that it's already been copied to my clipboard. So we're going to go ahead and save that for later. Now we're going to go ahead and dive into designs. So again, that's just that whiteboard looking icon with the pencil. And once we click on that, we're going to go to the bottom right where we see this blue plus button. Once we're here, we're going to go ahead and hit print and go ahead and hit next. And then once we're here, this is actually the designs platform, and lucky us, it actually opened straight up to the app designs for us. So what we're going to do is we're actually in the jumbo postcard section for my app. So we're going to go ahead and toggle over to flyers. Now there's only two right now. So they have one very specific to the app where you can hand out and do some door knocking, or they also have this property flyer that you can edit as well. So we're going to use the property flyer today. And again, if you did want to use this specific KW app flyer that's just for the app, go ahead and do that. That's a great way to go ahead and door knock. And then it's great to follow up with some past clients too. So we're going to go ahead and choose this listing one. So we're going to go ahead and hit the red use pencil. And here is our editor window, and I'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit so you guys can better see. But we're going to go ahead and scroll down, and we're going to go ahead and change out some of the information right now. So we're going to first work on our actual information down below. So over here, we'll see some images, and Ty actually already uploaded these himself. But what you can do if you don't see your images here, all you have to do is go to this Add to Library button down by my face. And once you click on that, you do have 4 options to go ahead and upload your headshots or any other images that you may need. And then the cool thing is that once you add them to your library, they'll be there for every single design you make. So it's a really great tool. Also, while you're in this section, you can toggle over to this logo section. And this is specifically if you want the San Diego North Inland logos. You do have to add these separately. They don't have every single market center's logos on hand in here, but they do have the regular KW logos. So if you do want the San Diego North Inlands, just make sure to hit the plus button on any of the blanks. And then now we can go ahead and search for our logos. And we can go ahead and put that in. And there we are. So once you're done with that, go ahead and exit out. And then now we're going to start switching some of these out. So I'm going to go ahead and use this square version of Ty. And all we're going to do is we're going to click and hold, and we're just going to drag it over. So make sure that you are holding down your mouse, but then we're going to go ahead and hover over that photo, and it will go ahead and replace. So just go ahead and hover over and drop it in, and you can see there is that replacement happening already. So now we're going to go ahead and start editing some of this information. So first and last, now we're going to go ahead, and to edit any of the text boxes, you do have to double click. If you don't double click, it won't fully select it and give you the option. So once you double click in, you'll see that edit cursor, and now we can start changing this out. And then don't worry if it drops into a second line. Once you actually type out your full selection, what you can do is just click outside of the text box once, and then you can see these drag icons become available. There we go. And then now we want to go ahead and change out the website. So Ty's specific KW site is tystuart1.kw.com, or you can switch it out with your custom domain as well. Next, we're going to go ahead and do the email. And then again, don't worry if it drops into a second line. We'll always change that later. Next, we're going to do the phone number. Now that's all done. So again, we're just going to click outside once of the text box and then drag out that full option. And then also don't forget, we do need to add in our DRE number here. So just go ahead and double click, and we're actually going to add in a second line. And we're going to do broker associate, and then DRE number. Whoops. We're going to go ahead and paste that in. So now that's done, we're going to go ahead and start dragging this. Each office is independently owned and operated. I'm just going to drag that out of the way and lower that just a bit so it looks a little bit more centered. And this is actually lowered a little bit. So I can go ahead and select multiple text boxes at a time as long as I hold down the shift key. So if I hold down the shift key, I can then go ahead and start selecting more options. And then what I can do is I can actually drag this up to be a little bit more centered with Ty's headshot. Perfect. So now we want to go ahead and change out this DBA logo at the bottom right. So in order to do that, all we're going to do is we're going to go to the logo section right here. And then there's our San Diego North Inland logo, and we can go ahead and drag and drop that in again, just like the photo we did previously. Now, if you don't have the San Diego North Inland and you just wanted the standard Keller Williams logos, all you have to do is, we're on My Library now. If you toggle over to Company, you'll see in the very first KW folder that all of the standardized logos are in there for you. So if you wanted this specific one, we can go ahead and just drag and drop that in. Super easy. So now we want to go ahead and change out Ty's app link. So you'll see it right here that there's a bunch of X's. So all I'm going to do is, again, double click on that text box to edit. I'm going to select the full thing, and we already copied that app link already. So all we have to do is just paste it in. And then we actually don't need the front of this link. So we can get rid of this HTTPS. And then now, since it is in a second line, we just have to click outside and again, just drag that out. And just by noticing, you can see that this actually has a left alignment just because the text is slightly to the left. So if you want to make that center, all you have to do is go up to the top menu bar, and you'll see here's that text alignment option right here. Just go ahead and click on that and then center it. And then now we can go ahead and just drag that over until it's centered with that other text, and it looks beautiful. Now we want to go ahead and start changing out the listing information right here. So the cool thing is we have the KWLS that pulls all of the information from the MLS for us. So you can pretty much search for any listing on the MLS and it will pull up right away. So on the left-hand side, you'll see that KWLS option. Go ahead and click on it, and then there's a couple different ways we can search. We can either search by the listing address or by the MLS number. I preferably love using the MLS number just because usually if you get it right the first time, it's the only listing that pops up. So go ahead and type in that MLS number or the property address. Just make sure if you are using the MLS number, just toggle over by the search by MLS. And then once you hit enter, you'll see here is my specific listing, and I can go ahead and hit select. And once I do that, you can see all of the photos from the MLS are being pulled right in here. So it's very easy to go ahead and grab these for you. So now I'm going to look for the best photo. And I believe I still like the front of the house the best. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to use this photo right here. And again, just like the headshot and the logo, we're just going to go ahead and drag and drop. And it's as easy as that. And you'll see up at the top right, just make sure that it is processing all the way. And then it looks a little bit funky with the centeredness. So again, I can actually change the positioning of this by double clicking on the photo. And then I can actually drag this down a little bit so I get the full view. And that's it. So now we can go ahead and start changing out this listing detail right here. And so I'm actually going to add in, you can see sort of that this text is hard to see. So I'm actually going to add in a red text box or a red block behind it. So it looks very similar to the title here. So the cool thing about that is I can go ahead and select this red box right here. And you can see that I'm hovering over it because of those yellow outlines. Go ahead and click on it. And then up at the top right, you'll actually see that there is a duplicate option. So once I click on that, it does give me another block that I can go ahead and drag down. And then I can go ahead and reposition this box to whatever size I want. Now it does go in front, so we do have to arrange this differently. So since we still have it selected, go back up to the top right, and right next to that duplicate option, you'll see in arrange. And from here, you'll see there's a send forward and a send backwards. So we're actually going to send it backwards. So we're just going to hit that twice, and now it's behind that text. And again, I can just go ahead and reposition it so I know that it's nice and centered. Now I can go ahead and start changing out these listing details right here. So it doesn't only pull over the photos for us, it does pull over those listing details. So on the left-hand side, again, you'll see photos. Just go ahead and toggle over to listing details and we'll pull that information for you. Now, I wouldn't necessarily suggest adding in a plus button just because once you do this, it actually pulls in a black text box and you can see that it actually doesn't have spacing. This is a weird glitch that they're working on right now, so don't go ahead and use that plus button because it will just be really buggy for you. But what we can do is, again, we're just going to go ahead and edit these text boxes. So just go ahead and scroll down until you get all of your information. And again, we're just going to double click to edit that text box. And again, click outside to go ahead and drag out that full amount. And we'll do the same thing here. And again, just click outside and drag to center that up. So perfect, that looks beautiful. We're actually going to change out the title as well. So go ahead and again, just double click. And then you can see here is my actual listing address right here. So I can go ahead and change this out. And click outside, drag out. And then the cool thing is that we can drag out our red box as well. So just go ahead and drag that out too. And now we are looking solid. So now what we can do is we're going to go ahead and change out this middle portion right here. So what I would suggest, I would pull up the MLS for this specific section just so you can go ahead and start editing this detail. But what you can do is you can very easily just put in the actual MLS description if you'd like. And you can paste that in. And you can start editing this detail as well. So if you didn't want all of it, you can go ahead and start changing it out. So I'm just going to make it a little bit shorter. And I think I am good with that. So one thing I'm going to do, you can sort of see that the first line is spaced okay, but everything else is sort of bunched up together. So I'm just going to go over to the spacing option up at the top, And I'm just going to go ahead and move this around until I see that the spacing is what I want. So that's about 3 on the line spacing. And then if for any reason you had a tight knit text, you can go ahead and change out the word spacing as well and play around with that. But since the text actually looks nice, I'm going to leave it as is. So I'm just going to click outside once, and I'm just going to go ahead and drag this up a little bit so it's a little bit more centered. And you can actually, that's another quick tip as well, you can click and drag out to select multiple items at a time. And you can go ahead and use the arrows on your keyboard to go ahead and move these to where you want. So now I'm going to go ahead and change out these property features. But that's all you have to do. And there is a beautiful flyer that's available for us, and it's all branded to you. So now what you want to do is you actually want to download this. So you can go up to the top right and actually rename this. So this is going to be the Caminito Point Del Mar app flyer. And you can hit enter, and then this down arrow is going to be the download button. So once you click on that, you do want to make this a PDF if you're going to print this out. If you did want to post this to social media, JPEG is going to be the option that you want. But since we're going to print this out and have it at an open house, we're going to go ahead and choose Get PDF, so we have the best version possible for printing. And you can see that we can actually change the quality. So if you wanted a high resolution print, go ahead and choose that. And then you can go ahead and hit Start Download. And then just give it a couple minutes. Sometimes, depending on how old your computer is, how slow your network is, it does take a few seconds. But then you'll either see that it will download right away, or it will show you where you want to download it. I'm going to download it to my temp folder, hit save, and then now you can see down below, here's my actual flyer that I downloaded. So I can go ahead and click on that and open it right up. But that's how you can create a beautiful app flyer that displays your customized app so you can get more downloads and more leads into your database. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you guys have any questions, but happy Monday and have a wonderful week.